Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the year 2022. My portfolio in the last week of this year went above $750,000. This video is going to share the activity for the last week. So if that's something you're interested in, stay tuned. Hey guys, Kevin Burgess again, here with another portfolio update for you. This will be the year-end update for my portfolio. I'd like to show you what the activity was during the last week, and we had some pretty tremendous market movements, and I want to show you that as well. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you'll get updates when I post new videos. You know, buckle up, get a cup of coffee, and enjoy the ride. Okay guys, let's take a look at the dividend portfolio update through December 31st, 2021. This is the final update for the year 2021. The portfolio overall is now worth $757,190. It is up an incredible $15,405 or 2.1% since a week ago when I last did this update on 12/24. So I'm obviously very stoked about that, and I'm sure all of your portfolios have gone up as well. It'd be interesting if you could tell me in the comments what, at least percentage-wise, what your portfolio did in the last week. You can see that my yield on cost overall is 3.29%. So let's move on then. As you recall, I break my portfolio down between a yield portfolio and a growth portfolio. So in the yield portfolio, the balance is now $170,746, providing an annual income of $8,517, just over $700 per month. The yield on cost in this portfolio is 5.2%, which is certainly a market-beating yield. And then the dividend growth that I'm expecting from this portfolio is 5.5%. The balance of $170,746 went up by $2,367 or 1.4% since last week. I'll take that. That is really a great thing. So the slide before you now shows the purchases, sales, and cash available to invest. And there were no purchases or sales since the last update, which is on 12/24. I do have some additional cash to invest because some dividends came in, but that cash to invest is $447. Not much to talk about here because I did it on a previous video. In the dividends received, I got an additional $30 dividend from Main Street Capital Corp. So that's been, that was actually a surprise to me because I also, as you'll notice, on 12/15, got a dividend from Main Street Capital Corp of $42. So I was not expecting a year-end dividend, but I went back and read the press release, and there is a special year-end dividend for Main Street Capital shareholders. The portfolio funding by month, this has not changed at all since the last video. But I do keep it in here to kind of let you know when I invested into this account. I started all of my accounts in 2021. So I'm excited about 2022, being able to look at a whole year of activity. But this account started in April of 2021. So I'm about 9 months into the program. On the next slide, you'll see the dividends received by month. That was updated for Main Street Capital. So you can tell that we're around, actually it's the $772 that was on the previous slide. So you can see that the dividends received from this account are going up significantly. The market performance by month, December was just an incredible month from an investment perspective. So it looks like, my market performance for the month was, between $11,000 and $12,000, which was really, really exciting for this account. So moving on to the growth portfolio update through December 31st, you can see that the balance here is $586,396, up by $12,990 since December the 24th, which was just a week ago. So that's 2.3%. The annual income from this portfolio is $14,834. I don't use this portfolio for expenses, so all of this gets reinvested back into the shares. The yield on cost here is 2.72%. So the dividend growth in this portfolio is 9.3%. So it's a pretty good balance, nearly 3% yield on cost with a dividend growth of 9%. So I'm looking for a lot of growth out of this account. The slide before you now has the purchases and sales. I do have one sale out of this account, and I'll talk about that a little bit. I sold my entire stake, which was only 60.473 shares of American States Water. It provided funds of $6,100. And you'll notice that I now have cash available to invest of $12,151. Why did I sell American States Water? I sold American States Water for basically one reason, and a picture speaks 1,000 words. So the slide before you now is from Fast Graphs. I use Fast Graphs as well as some other tools, but I really like this program. But if you look at the chart on the right-hand side, you'll notice a green dot and a red dot. The green dot is where I bought the shares, and the red dot is where I sold the shares. Right in the middle of the screen in the black box, you'll notice that it calculates for me the annual rate of return. If you look at the bottom number there, total annual rate of return is 45.2%. My total rate of return was 15.37. So if you think about it like this, I didn't own it for a year. So if you annualize what I got from this, it would be equal to 45.2%. However, that's not money that went into the bank. I consider the 15.37% more relevant to this discussion. But if you'll notice, American States Water appears to me, and appears on this graph, to be extremely overvalued. If I'm a value investor, then I'm going to go ahead and pull out of that stake. I made some pretty decent money on it. I'm going to pull out of that and maybe wait for a pullback before I re-enter this position. I probably should not have gone into it when I did. I'm glad I did because I made some good money on it. As I looked at this chart and I was thinking about what should I do to position my portfolio for success in 2022, I decided to sell out of my stake of American States Water. So now moving on to the growth portfolio dividends received. I did actually get one dividend since our last video, and that was from EOG Resources on December the 30th for $200. So that's the only new dividend since our last update. So that brings me to a total dividends received in my growth portfolio of $2,330.95. Pretty decent dividends for the month of December. The growth portfolio, the portfolio funding by month, I started this account in August. And you can see I put money in August, a little bit in October, and then some more in November. This particular portfolio will probably not receive any additional funding, so it's going to need to grow organically, which is one of the reasons I scaled back on the American States Water account to give me additional cash to invest in the future. So market performance, you can see the market performance is just incredible, somewhere between $35,000 and $40,000 in the month of December for this account. So obviously stoked about that. Then looking at the dividends versus the market fluctuation, it's hard to tell on the other slides, but look how big these market fluctuations are compared to the amount of dividends I'm receiving. And it is really difficult to keep our eye on the prize, which is the dividends, when we've got market fluctuations moving like this. So you can see in the dividend growth portfolio that my dividends received were $4,124 for the year. And the cumulative market fluctuation, that's the combined total of all the ups and downs, is a positive 20,977. So basically 5 times what my dividends were. If I keep my eye on the dividends, then I'm not out there trying to chase these market fluctuations and trying to time the market, because I think we all know, and it's been proven over and over again, that we cannot time the market. If we pull our funds out of the market at the wrong time and put them back in at the wrong time, then we actually could lose money as opposed to making money. So that's why I like to talk about staying invested in the market, because it's really important. Just to close this slide out, on the yield portfolio, I received $2,020 in dividends, but the market fluctuation is $8,340, again, 4 times the amount of the dividends. I'm happy about that, but it could have just as easily gone the other way. We don't keep our eye on the market fluctuation as much as we keep our eye on the dividends as dividend growth investors. The last slide I'll go over is my matrix, where I have the growth stocks in the top left quadrant of the chart, and I have the yield stocks in the bottom right quadrant of the chart. And that's because I put the higher growth stocks on the left axis and the higher yield stocks on the right axis. Then there's in the yellow box, there's a few stocks here that have both high growth and high yield. And I can either put them in one category, or one portfolio or the other, or I could put them in both. And so you'll notice that there's 2 changes on this slide. Actually, you won't notice. I'll have to point it out to you. Last time in the avoid for both was Kyndryl, and I backed out of that position. So that is no longer in the bottom left quadrant of this chart, which is the red box. And I also removed American States Water from the growth portfolio. That portfolio is getting crowded anyway, so I probably do need to weed some of that down, which is why I'm going through this series for all of my top investments and doing an analysis on each company. Hopefully you've seen some of those videos, and those will continue at least until I get through probably the top 1/3 of my portfolio. And while we're here at the portfolio, you can see that the total portfolio is up 5% for the year. Some of my top performing stocks are Lowe's with a gain of 41.7%. AbbVie is up by 23%. Apple is up by 18.6%. Microsoft is up by 16.1%. So you can see that there's been some significant improvement in these stocks. So there's quite a few. And that's been a great thing for the portfolio. I'll go to the bottom here. My 2 worst performing stocks are Comcast and Allstate. Looking forward to getting to the place where I do a deep dive on those, and I'll share that in some future videos. So you can see also that Kinder Morgan, Exxon, and Verizon are a little bit down, but not significantly. So those are the major impacts on the portfolio. And if you've been following me for some time, you know the disclaimers. I'm not an investment professional. I do own all the shares that I've talked about today. I'm long in all of them. So this is for your entertainment, your education, and really just to kind of share my journey with you, and so we can walk this journey together. I couldn't ask for a better last week of the year. It's been an incredible market move. I'm glad you're on the journey with me. And just remember to learn all you can, invest consistently, and stay invested. So with that, I wish you a prosperous 2022. Let's go on this journey together with our dividend portfolios. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.